All right, yo, what's going on, fellas? Give me 1 second. I try to get this thing to work. Why is it not working for me right now? All right, guys. Well, I cannot get this to cooperate, but man, let's go ahead and let's get into this thing, man. I appreciate some of y'all for coming through, man. What's going on, Aqua? What's going on, Trinity? Urson the Great, Patience. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to hop in it really quickly, man. I was going to make a video, but I figured why not kind of go live with this video, kind of get some input as we go through it, all of that good stuff. So throughout this week, man, I have been going hard trying to do my last minute scouting on some of these players because we have the NFL draft coming up literally just next week. What's going on, Kevin? Welcome to the stream, man. So I went through and I put together my whole draft board, top 100 prospects, top players at each position. I used the help of a website called thedraftnetwork.com, man. Dope website. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. You can do mock drafts on it. You can also go through, set up your own big board. All of that good stuff is right there, man. You guys can also see in the description below my complete draft board. But we'll take a look quickly at what we have. Yeah, I know it's not Aqua's not in it no more, man. I just remember you comment, so I just go with Aqua, man. So we'll go through, and you guys can see my board right real quick. I don't know if that's big enough for you. Can you guys see it, or should I make it bigger? I can make it a little bit bigger. Maybe we go this way. We go this route so you guys can read it a little bit easier, man. So I have my entire draft board for 2020, man. So 100 guys. I think each page is 50 players per page, man. But we got 100 guys to go through. But specifically, I want to talk about quarterbacks because to me, quarterbacks, important position. Guys are going to be overdrafted. We're going to possibly see 4, maybe 5 guys go in the first round. So I kind of want to break down my guys, what I'm thinking about them, and then you guys give me your feedback. That's definitely cool, man. So at number, what was this, number 8? So it'll be 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So we have 8 guys in the top 100. That is definitely cool. But we have 2 guys who I have on the list that did not make the top 100 on the big board, but I still have them as the top 10 quarterbacks. That's Cole McDonald and then Josh Love. Those are 2 other names that you will not see right here. But those are 2 guys I think, could be on NFL rosters potentially. I don't think none of those guys are going to, start or really even be active, but I think they could be potentially on practice squads or on rosters, which is definitely good for them. But we'll go ahead and start at number 8 at the quarterback list, but number 100 overall on the big board. What's going on, Jacob? Welcome to the stream, man. We have Anthony Gordon out of Washington State. Obviously, he was behind Gardner Minshew, so we only had 1 season with Anthony Gordon. But in his 1 season, from what I've seen, the dude absolutely went off, man. He had over 5,000 passing yards. The dude was phenomenal, but he only had 1 season, which is definitely scary, man. Justin Herbert is the draft's biggest belief, in my opinion. Not sure what that means, man. But like I said, not too much to really go off of on Anthony Gordon. I don't want to make this super long either. But Anthony Gordon, phenomenal stats. He has decent size for you, but he only gave you that 1 season in a pass-happy offense. What can he really do? I think he's a guy who should be drafted late, definitely a third-day guy, but he's somebody who should definitely go late. And, with the right tutelage and development and coaching, could potentially be an okay mid-tier level backup, in my opinion. Jake Fromm, I might have him a little bit lower than most. I have him as the 7th graded quarterback. Some people have him around that 5, 6 mark. Have him at 7. Jake Fromm, the kid who came in, took over the reins, made almost everybody seem like leave Georgia. He's an up and down quarterback. We've seen him make some very, very good throws. We've seen him, do some things that impress you, but very, very inconsistent. One, in bad weather, good luck. Good luck trying to have this kid play in bad weather. Doesn't happen. It just frankly does not happen. Doesn't look good at all. I really narrowed in on the Kentucky-Georgia game. Watched that game. A lot of rain, and Jake Fromm did not look like an NFL prospect at all. So that's somebody to me that you could take a flyer on. You could take a flyer on him. Doesn't have incredible arm strength, but we'll see, man. People want to hype him up. I have him a little bit lower on this list. At number 6, when it comes to quarterback, Jalen Hurd. Jalen Hurt's another prospect. You see a lot of stuff from, man. Jalen Hurt's very, very good kid, man. He wants to win. He has that competitive energy about him, which is great. However, he is not NFL ready when it comes to being a traditional quarterback. If you get him, you have to scheme around Jalen Hurts. Now, right now, people are going to talk up Hurts like he could potentially go in the first round. Maybe he does. He does not have a first-round grade at all. As you see on the big board, he is 78. Not a first-round grade at all. But I think around round 3, I think that's an okay spot for Hurts. But we know quarterbacks always go earlier than projected, or they fall tremendously. Jalen Hurts, man, we've seen him at Bama. We now seen him at Oklahoma in a pass-happy offense in a system where everybody gets open. He didn't have to make a lot of tight reads, tight throws. He kind of just threw it to the open guys, had playmakers around him. But we know he could also run like a running back, right? Not the fastest guy, but he's a physical runner. But do you want that from your quarterback long-term? More than likely not. More than likely that's not the wave. That's not kind of what you're looking for. So for Jalen Hurts, you have to get him in the right system. You have to get him in the right system. You have to be willing to have him sit for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. And I don't know, man. I don't see him as a first-round guy at all. Has to be schemed correctly. But we have him at number, 6 for quarterbacks. At 5, I have Jacob Eason. Now, Jacob Eason, formerly at Georgia, former 5-star recruit, man. Went to Georgia, played, had that knee injury. Of course, Jake from State Farm, he came in, took his spot. Jacob Eason, he ended up going back home to Washington, where he had a solid year. Sat out, played this season, had a solid year. The things I really like about Jacob Eason is he has all the prototypical stuff when you look at him. He has the size, he has the arm, he makes some plays, but everything isn't there. So once again, the same issues with some of these guys at the bottom of his list. I don't know if he's NFL ready. He's going to take time. He's going to need to develop. But I think long-term, I think potential-wise for Jacob Eason, I like him more than I like Jake Fromm. I like him more than I like Anthony Gordon, just because, I've seen a little bit more from Jacob Eason. I think he has the potential to be a very, very solid quarterback. He has the tools. He has to make everything work. That's obviously the main concern with Jacob Eason. Now, at number 4, I have Justin Herbert. Some people have Justin Herbert top 10 pick, and I think when you come to the mock draft, I could very well see scenarios where Justin Herbert is drafted in the top 10 for sure. Some mock drafts have him going as the 2nd quarterback taken off of the board ahead of Tua. I don't think he should, but once again, I don't really see him as a first-round quarterback. Maybe late first round if you're desperate or really need a quarterback, or if you have that situation where he can wait. But right now, Justin Herbert to me, man, two up and down. And when you look at film on Herbert, you walk away with 2 separate scenarios. You have situations where Herbert is going to wow you. He's going to make throws on the run. He's going to have command of the football. He is going to look like a no-brainer, a first-round pick, a guy that you will want on your team. Then you're going to turn to a different game And he's not going to really look like a day one prospect at all. And that's kind of the ups and downs you get out of her. But on top of that, it seemed like he plateaued. He got all the way up where we looked like he was going to keep going up, and he really didn't. He kind of just evened out a little bit. And you kind of get what you see, I guess, out of Justin Herbert. Hasn't really improved too much. Hasn't really done anything crazy. And that's scary when you think about drafting a quarterback in the top 10. I mean, we've seen it with Daniel Jones. It could potentially work. I don't see Justin Herbert quite going that high, at least right now, man. I mean, I could see him going that high. I wouldn't draft him that high. And that's the difference between the big board, man. This is not necessarily saying where they're going to go. This is just me looking at talent level and what I think you're going to be able to produce. I get scared of Herbert, but we did move. We have Herbert at 40. We have Jordan Love at 36. Another guy who will, in my opinion, probably go late first round. Same scenario, man. I wouldn't take him as a first round quarterback. I wouldn't take him if you need a quarterback to play now. Jordan Love is another kid. You throw on the tape, he's up and down. His junior year looked very, very solid. But you look at some of his games this season, didn't quite look as good. But I put a lot of that to the decision making of Jordan Love. I think he has everything. The ball flies out of his arm. He has a nice quick release. He's confident with his throws. You don't see him second guessing very often. You've seen him a little bit more active in the run game this year, a little bit more read options, a couple of RPOs sprinkled in. I liked what Jordan Love does. He's a pocket passer who can make a couple of plays with his legs. And that's ultimately a good combination, right? He's not reliant on running. Quite frankly, you don't want him running all the time, but he can make plays running. But he's a pocket passer. He stays in the pocket. He looks good in the pocket, in my opinion. I'm cool with Jordan Love. But sometimes, man, he has that mentality where he's just trying to do too much and overcompensate. Is that because the lack of talent at Utah State? You have to think about that, right? You look at him in the LSU game. His team was just flat out outmatched. So it'll be interesting to see what Jordan Love could do with talent around him. I really do believe, though, that he could get things done. He could be mobile. He can make plays with his legs. He can make plays with his arms. He has that confidence. You give him a right system, right tutelage. I think Jordan Love could be a starting quarterback in the NFL for sure. I think a mid-tier guy, but still a starter for sure, man. I like the scouts are ignoring his junior year because the talent level around him. Yeah, man, his junior year, like I said, was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, man. The dude had command. He did everything you wanted. But like you just said, Parker, he's at Utah State. You know, Utah State, sometimes people question, the comp that you're playing and who you're playing against. He doesn't have NFL talent around him. So Jordan Love, I have him as the third graded quarterback, 36 overall on the big board. Now, with this quarterback class, you have 1 and 2, and you have a big gap, in my opinion, before you get to Jordan Love and the rest of the guys, right? 1 and 2 guys are guys you have to get. Tua Tagovailoa, man. This one was tough. So we have him second on the quarterback list, number 4 overall on the big board. With Tua, this is my concerns, and I guess I go over the pros in a little bit. With Tua, man, the injuries, you just can't wrap around it, man. The injuries for Tua, it's scary. We haven't seen Tua play a complete season. We just have not seen it. And of course, with that dislocated hip, we'll see how he could bounce back from that. But that's not a good injury to have, But Tua will be better than Burrell without the injury. That's exactly where I'm going, Parker. Exactly where I'm going, man. The injury is questionable to me, and that's why he's number 2 ultimately. You also look at the arm strength. I think he has average arm strength, which is not bad. You say average is middle of the road. It's the average, right? But when you're drafting this high, you kind of have to look at everything. He doesn't have the greatest arm strength in the world. You can see it on some of his deep throws. Accurate with it, but sometimes he doesn't have that really to get it there at all times. And we haven't seen, you can't knock him because we just haven't seen it. We haven't seen Tua throw the ball into tight windows consistently. At Bama, he had crazy weapons that he gets knocked for having. Not his fault that he was a 5-star prospect and went to a school that wanted a quarterback, which was Alabama. But he had a lot of tools around him, and a lot of his receivers did a good job getting open. A lot of his offensive line did a good job protecting him. So we didn't see him make consistent throws in tight windows. We have seen it, hasn't been consistent. So that is something I guess you will put potentially as a con. But when you look at Tua and what he could do well, I think it makes up for a lot of it. I think he's the most talented quarterback in this draft. I like Joe Burrow, and I have a reason why I think he's better than Joe Burrow, and I'll go over that when I go talk about Joe Burrow. But most talented guy, could do it with his legs, could do it with his arm. Great accuracy. He could extend plays. When you blitz this kid picks you apart every time. Like literally every time, this kid can pick you apart if you blitz. We'll see how that translates to the NFL. College, that was something you really didn't want to do against him. We never seen him flat out look terrible. We've seen a couple of throws. We've seen a couple of, moments. But we've never seen a prolonged, a full game, a couple of game stretches that Tua just didn't show up and Tua did not deliver. He did it consistently, and he improved with every single season. That is also something you have to think about. I mean, he's going upwards in terms of what he's done and how he grades out. Just the injuries. The injuries is what knocks Tua down to me to the number 2 spot. When it comes to just pure talent, he's number 1. He's number 1 to me, man. But you have to drop him down number 2 because of that. All right, now at number 1 in terms of quarterbacks, number 2 overall on the big board, we have Joe Burrow. Now, once again, we'll start with the cons of Joe Burrow. His age, to me, I mean, some people don't think it's a con. To me, he's 23 years old. He's older than NFL quarterbacks. He's older than Lamar Jackson. He's older than Sam Darnold. He will be 24 in December. So in the middle of his rookie season, he will be 24 years old. He's an older guy, which you would then assume maybe he's playing at this great level because he is a little bit more experienced. He's older in terms of he's been around the game. He hasn't always played at Ohio State, but he's been around long enough to really get that experience. And also, what we've seen this year was not the Joe Burrow we've seen at Ohio State. Yes, Joe Burrow looked like a decent player. Yes, Joe Burrow looked like a guy who could probably play and start for a lot of teams, but nobody looked at Joe Burrow like he is going to be the greatest or be a quarterback that could give us the greatest college season ever. Nobody really thought that. If you did, I would have thought you were tripping or you were just a fan. But Joe Burrow didn't look like that guy. Coming out of high school, he wasn't, the greatest guy ever. He was a good quarterback. And this good quarterback had an amazing season. So we got to see if it was a one-year thing. We got to see if he could have prolonged success. Another thing I'm always interested in is in this type of league now where spread is kind of becoming more normal, right? Running with your quarterback's more of a norm. You kind of expect your quarterback to be able to buy time. I don't believe Joe Burrow's the guy that's going to extend plays. I just don't think he's the guy who's going to extend plays consistently or be much of a threat. So I think those are the things, and that's nitpicking. That's nitpicking. I have seen him move a little bit out of the pocket, but that's just nitpicking some cons. For pros, I think it's what everybody knows. Great anticipation when throwing the football. Great pocket presence. I mean, the dude will literally stay in the pocket, deliver a great ball, get absolutely destroyed. That's something you want to see. He had one of the greatest NCAA seasons ever. Flat out ever. So those are cons. And the dude is an absolute gamer. You could tell he loves football. It just oozes out of him, man. He is going to compete day in and day out. That's something that you can't teach. You want that kid as a leader. You want that kid really controlling things for your team, man. And that's why we have Burrow number 1 overall. So quickly, man, I just wanted to go through, kind of show this. Like I said in the description, you guys could check it out. I have my complete big board. I might make some videos about it later. But I was gonna make a video, and I figured why not just go live quickly, man, and just get this out to you guys. This is my big board. My big board overall. You kind of see a glimpse right here. My top 10 guys. But when it comes to quarterbacks, you have Joe Burrow, you have Tua, and then there's a drop. There's a drop. Then you got Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Jacob Eason, Jalen Hurd, Jake Fromm, Anthony Gordon, and then the guys who didn't make this list who will round out the top 10. You have Josh Love. Then you got Cole Mcdonald. Those are my guys, man. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. We'll go ahead and end the stream here. Very, very quick, man. If you're watching this on the back end, let me know your top 5 or your top 10 quarterbacks. Do you agree with me? Am I missing on some guys? Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below, man. Appreciate y'all for stopping through. It's your boy D Lloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.